Hello YouTube, this is Ben Kessel. It's kind of a sunny Sunday day here. It's about after 4 p.m. And I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. Lots of fun. So there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, but to sum up though, this is going to revolve more around the social comparisons we make. What goes into our first impressions of people. Sorry about that. As well as maybe a few other things that are related to that. But I have to say at the outset that I've had my fair share of, more than my fair share, probably, of social woes and irritations and heartaches and things that really could mess someone up. Now, my family has always been great, but there are a lot of social perceptions, or I don't know what exactly to. I don't know how to put it. I don't know what to call it, but it's yeah. Life has been kind of not so fun in this whole arena, basically. So let's get right down to it. The social comparisons that we make. And I'm going to be very plain what I say here. Very plain. So much so that it might bother some people, but it has to be said. Some of the stuff has to be said. Hopefully the scenery kind of calms you down a bit, perhaps. I don't know. So the first social comparison we make, obviously is male versus female. And I'm okay with that. This is the one thing that I'm 100% okay about. It's totally okay to say, that person's a guy or that person's a girl. It sounds kind of humorous to even mention it, but I think it still is worth mentioning. The question maybe might become, what does that mean? All that means is you're probably going to interact with that guy in a little bit different way than that woman, depending on the situation, depending on many other things. So feminists take that. Anyway, race. I know. It almost doesn't need to be mentioned because it seems to be such a annoyingly recurring topic sometimes. But we make comparisons. The comparisons we make. We have a lot of things stored away in our psyche about different races. And do I think that's always okay to have? That's not quite 100% okay, but I certainly wouldn't say it's not okay. Those whatever those things are in our subconscious, they're there for a reason, and the only thing we can do is just try to give people the benefit of the doubt if there's anything negative in that subconscious arena. I won't get into this too much because personally, I don't have any problems with this area, really. Certainly not compared to the other stuff. So let's go on here. Age. Age is kind of misleading because we think that age means the older you are, the more you know, the more mature you are, the more experienced you are in life. That's definitely not the case. You can have an 80-year-old that's less experienced in life than a 20-year-old. It all depends. That's a little extreme, but it's still so age is is it okay then to make comparisons about people or have these things that are stored away in our subconscious about age? Is it okay to do that? That's also, it's like race, it's not always okay, depending on what it is that we think is the case. Now, socially, at least in the United States, we seem to have a greater tolerance for having preconceived notions about age over race. But we still are not, I don't think there's hardly any society very, very few societies where it really does not matter at all what race someone is. And there are no preconceived notions about race at all. I don't think such a place exists really in the earth, but if it did exist, it might be somewhere, I don't know, Brazil or something. But even Brazil, no, I doubt it. Even Brazil or maybe certain parts of Africa, they still have ideas about people. based on race. Okay, so although they're very racially tolerant, I would say. Maybe, who knows? Intellect. Okay, so we make comparisons between ourselves and other people definitely in this arena all the time. We can observe someone's social intelligence. We can observe their reasoning power, their shrewdness, their creativity, imagination, knowledge. Well, that's actually kind of escapes a lot of us a lot of times, how much someone actually knows. Whether it's a practical kind of knowledge, or skills, we'll say, or is it more abstract or theoretical? And we can observe someone's just common sense and cunning. That sounds kind of like a negative quality, but we can observe how clever someone is and how much they understand about things, their comprehension of what they know, and then just how much curiosity they have for new subjects. That's kind of curiosity is a wonderful thing to have, I think. It's something that we should always try to cultivate, I think. But yeah, I mean, like if we see someone who's obviously less intelligent than us, we have these comparisons. You'll see where I'm going with all this stuff here in a bit. Ultimately, it does boil down to how we should treat other people, but then there we have physical characteristics, what someone looks like. I don't think I need to get into that at all. It's very straightforward why we make these comparisons with other people based on physical characteristics. Religion, yeah, it's another no-brainer. Some folks are more apt to talk to people of many different faiths, others less so. Or treat other people well, whether they're, I don't know, you fill in the blank. Socioeconomic status or wealth, maturity, personality and common moods, or more common moods someone has, eccentricity and preoccupation with specific subjects, and then just how good or evil someone is based on our perceptions of that person. Culture, nationality, ethnicity, and tribes, right? We have certain preconceived notions about these different things. Someone's attitude, whether it's a temporary thing or something more recurring. That's kind of connected somewhat with personality, maybe, or more common mood someone has. Energy level. How many friends someone has. Who are their friends? How deep are their friendships? Do we know all their friends? There we go. Do we know all the people that they know? Competition, envy, jealousy. We might feel threatened by how amazing someone is. Whatever. Yep. Neighborhood, city. Where's someone from? What does that imply? What does that tell you about their whatever? How much money they make? What religion they are? What ethnicity they are? Who do they hang out with? All that stuff. What's their lifestyle like? It's very judgmental. Sometimes to think along those lines. A lot of times. Very much so. And then just, how kind is a person versus how cruel is a person. So you can go through all that entire list. You can really think about all these different things on your own. But the fact is that as human beings, we are entirely too full of this judgmental stuff. There are things that it's good to know about. There are things that are good to know about other people. But we should realize that people people change over time, or they could change. There's just a lot of things that are very wrong with this world based on the judgments we make about other people, the comparisons we make. If we were to think about this at a deep enough level, yeah, we would be different people. And how much do we truly understand about other people? And that understanding does grow with time. So obviously you can't expect someone who's 10 years old to understand people as well as someone who's, 50. But we should still do our best to try to understand people as well as we can, no matter how old we are. Why am I talking about this? And this is, by the way, my 250th video, number 250. So, yes, I've made quite a few videos now on YouTube. Well, because I see it all the time. Because it's just one of those... There's very few things that are as relevant to what we're dealing with today, this modern time, as this very subject of social comparisons. or any kind of comparison you make with yourself and with someone else. Unless you know something 100%, and unless that's clearly a very good thing or an evil thing, gosh darn it, leave the door open, people. You can sense if someone's just not up to no good. You should be able to sense that. If you can't sense that, then don't think something is in any way remotely objectionable. It's just, this world is full of stupid, judgmental folks. And if YouTube doesn't tell you that, based on how many dumb comments there are out there, how many judgmental comments, I don't know what will. So let's not be this way. Let's go through each one of these things and say, what actually really matters to me? What actually really matters to me? And make a list of what you tend to be attracted to in people or not attracted to. And say, why is this the way it is? And you just try to minimize as much as possible anything that you judge someone. It might be just how do you treat someone kind of judgment. But whatever, you just gotta be aware of this stuff. We've got to be aware of this stuff. You gotta be really aware of this stuff. Maybe you need to take another look at this stuff and say, what's my attitude like toward other people? What's my energy level like? We should take it easy on ourselves sometimes, depending, we don't want to beat ourselves up, but at the same time, keep working on ourselves, but, say, do I really need to, think this way about people? Is someone forcing me to feel this way about people? Am I coerced to think this way about people? Anyway, I've heard of these colored stages. That are kind of like states of life, or places that we are in life. I can't remember the authors offhand. I just remember that the order of colors in these psychological kinds of stages, or something kind of mystical or something, is spiritual, I don't know, maybe it was beige, purple, red, blue, orange, green, yellow, and turquoise. I'm not saying this is a bunch of BS. And what I'm trying to say is, there might be some things to this, but there's really not, in my opinion, when I was listening to some of this stuff, or watching some videos about some of this stuff, I kept thinking to myself, how does this mesh with what I already know to be true, spiritually? It just turned out to be kind of like some kind of, well, for lack of a better word, it was very left liberal thinking to me, which, whatever, it's liberal thinking. But it didn't seem like it had a lot of, there's this idea that you could be, you can progress from one color to the other. So how do you know which color you're at? And do you force yourself? Is it your own inertia whether you get the next color, or do you just allow it to happen naturally based on your own growth, whatever, as a person? And most importantly, what is this color thing? What does this even matter? What's its value? I just kept asking myself, what is the value of this? So if you guys maybe are familiar with someone like Eckhart Tolle, you might get more out of him than you would about this color thing. Again, I'm not saying this is completely worthless. I'm just that I kept thinking to myself, why? Why? If you know you've already got to a certain point in life, or you know that there's certain things that you've grown in, that you're more advanced in life, and other things that you still need to work on, isn't that more important? Isn't that more something that's a real thing than this color-based progression? I can tell you more about it a little bit. I honestly, there's hours and hours of videos about this stuff. It just doesn't mesh with it's just very theoretical, and it's just not very it's not of very much worth, in my opinion. So I think that people can get really abstract and consumed with all these ideas and kind of maybe lose sight of some of the things that are a little bit more important regarding inner spirituality, growth, purity, all these things, right? You can get kind of bogged down with all the ideas out there, and there's so many ideas. And some of them are actually pretty worthwhile. Some of them are very worthwhile. Some of them are actually true. And some of them just flat out true. And others are just completely bogus. And again, I think it's very important to not only consider how we view other people in all of these areas I just mentioned a while back, but I think it's important to expect other people to have some degree of, we'll say, a combination of level-headedness and common sense with good character in regard to how we view people. So leave me your thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.